The Path to the Light: How a Lost Girl Found Herself in the Darkest Times. Lily Harris has always been the one people talk about. She has it all. She was an excellent student, had many friends and clear dreams for the future. Since childhood, she dreamed of becoming a doctor to help people. Her determination and charming smile admired everyone who knew her. When Lily entered a prestigious university in a big city, her family and friends thought she was on her way to great things. But, as is often the case, her outward brilliance hid her inner struggles. Life in another city turned out to be much more difficult than she had imagined. She tried to be successful in everything: studying, meeting new people, adapting to the fast pace of life. But loneliness and pressure took their toll. Lily found solace in a company that valued partying more than education. At first, she avoided their suggestions to relax. But one day, after a tough week when she didn't turn in an important project, Lily gave in. A party, music, laughter, it all seemed like the perfect way to distract herself. However, one careless step and her life changed forever. The first time she tried drugs, she convinced herself that it was just one time. But it happened again, and gradually Lily lost control of her life. Her grades were falling, she was distancing herself from her family and forgetting about her dream of becoming a doctor. It all came to a head when the university officially expelled her. Lily found herself in a strange city with no support, no purpose, and even no faith in herself. After the expulsion, Lily moved to a small apartment in a neighborhood where life seemed as desolate as she was. Her days merged into one continuous abyss. She hardly ever left the house, spending her time inside the four walls with a bottle of alcohol and the few drugs she could still afford. Money was quickly running out. What was left of her dreams was destroyed. She couldn't even look in the mirror, her eyes looked like empty windows looking out into the darkness. The worst part was that she avoided communication with her family. Her mother called more than once, leaving voice messages with tears. "Lily, please tell me you're okay. We are all worried about you." But Lily did not answer. She felt like she was not worthy of their love. That she was a failure who had lost everything. One evening was a turning point for her. She was sitting in a dark room, wrapped in an old sweater, looking at the empty wall in front of her. Her mind was filled with thoughts that everything was over, that she had nothing left to strive for. But then a small ray of light penetrated the darkness. Her phone rang. It was Mia, her former dorm roommate. Mia was standing on the doorstep of her apartment an hour after the call. She brought coffee, food, and a stream of words that at first seemed like accusations to Lily. "Lily, I know you're going through a difficult time. But I'm not going to let you ruin your life. Look at yourself, this is not you." Lily wanted to close the door, but Mia insisted that they had to talk. She told her how she had gone through similar trials after losing her father and how she had found support at a rehabilitation center. "I know you're scared. But you are not alone. There are people who can help you. And I'll be here for you," Mia said, handing over a postcard with the rehabilitation center's contacts. These words touched Lily. For the first time in many months, someone reached out to her without judgment. She looked at the postcard for a long time, not knowing if she would have the strength to make the call. But 2 days later, waking up after another sleepless night, she dialed the number. Her voice was shaking, but a warm voice answered on the other end. "We are ready to help you, Lily. You've taken the first step, and that's a victory." Lily found herself in a rehabilitation center, a place where she felt for the first time in a long time that she was no longer alone. She was surrounded by people who knew what pain and loss were like, but they were all struggling to regain control of their lives. The first days were hard. Lily had to confront her fears and memories that she had been trying to suppress for years. The physical symptoms of withdrawal were painful, but it was even harder to face the truth. At one of her therapy sessions, she finally decided to talk about herself. "I thought I could control everything. But one day I lost control and just gave up. I don't recognize myself anymore, she said, trying to hold back tears. Sarah, the therapist leading the group, responded. Lily, every one of us here has been through something similar. But the fact that you are here now means that you are already stronger than you think. These words became a new source of strength for Lily. She spent every day at the center looking for new tools to understand herself. She started writing a diary, learning relaxation techniques, and even taking up drawing, which she had loved since childhood. But group therapy helped her the most. Listening to the stories of others, she realized that her pain was not unique. Others had also fallen, but they got back up. She realized that she could too. After a few months at the center, Lily began to feel something new, lightness. She woke up in the morning without feeling guilty about the day before. She learned to enjoy the little things again, a walk in the garden, sunlight, the smile of a person who understood her. One day, the therapist suggested that the participants write a letter to themselves in the past. Lily was hesitant at first, but when she picked up a pen, her words began to flow. Dear Lily, you thought it was over. But you were wrong. You are strong, even if you don't feel it now. You have the right to make mistakes, but most importantly, you have the right to a second chance. She reread her letter and smiled for the first time in a long time. These words reminded her that her story was not over yet. After reading the letter, Sarah said, Lily, I see that you are ready for the next step. Not only are you recovering, but you are beginning to see how you can turn your past into a strength. This compliment was a signal to Lily that she was on the right track. After completing rehabilitation, Lily felt as if she was in a whole new world. She could no longer go back to her old life, but her new life did not yet have clear contours. She had to start literally from scratch, without money, without a plan, without a specific goal. She moved into a small hostel that supported women in difficult life circumstances. It was modest, a small room, a shared kitchen, but this place gave her something much more important: safety and time to rethink her life. Every morning, Lily woke up with one goal in mind: to find a job. She spent hours searching for jobs, sending resumes and going to interviews. But each time the answer was the same: rejection. Her disrupted education and past mistakes created barriers. One day, as she was looking through the classifieds, a volunteer position at a youth center caught her eye. The job didn't pay, but it promised something else: the opportunity to help. Lily was hesitant to spend her time on something that wouldn't bring her money, but then she thought, helping others could be my first step to rebuilding myself. She applied and the very next day met with the head of the center, an energetic woman named Mary. Tell us about yourself, Mary asked. Lily was honest. She told her about her past, her fall, and how she had gone through rehabilitation. Mary listened intently and then said, You know, Lily, what you've been through is not a weakness. It is your strength. You can be an example for young people of how to change their lives. These words made Lily think. She agreed, although inside she still doubted whether she could do it. But her first days at the center were a breath of fresh air. She helped young people with various life problems, from studying to adapting to society. Her own experience allowed her to understand them better. Lily realized that her past could be not only a lesson for her, but also an inspiration for others. Volunteering gradually became an integral part of Lily's life. Every day she worked with young people who were on the verge of making difficult decisions. She shared her story, emphasizing that everyone has the right to make a mistake, but even more importantly, the chance to correct it. Her work did not go unnoticed. Mary entrusted her with more and more tasks. At first, it was simple conversations with teenagers who needed advice or support. Later, Mary invited Lily to run her own support group for young girls who were struggling with addiction. You're ready, Mary said, your experience and your heart will help them believe in themselves. Lily agreed, although she doubted her abilities. She realized that she was facing a serious challenge, but at the same time she felt that this was her opportunity to change not only her life, but the lives of others. During her first meeting, she sat in front of a group of 6 girls. Each had her own story, her own losses and her own hopes. Lily shared her story with them, unvarnished, honest and sincere. "I know how you feel," she said. "I thought all was lost, too. But even the darkest days can be the beginning of a new path." These words broke through the barrier that stood between her and the girls. They began to open up and tell their stories. Lily realized that her work is not only about helping, but also about creating an environment where people feel that their lives matter. Lily's support group became popular. The girls who came to her group changed before her eyes. Their stories prove that support and self-belief can change even the most difficult lives. People started talking about Lily's work. One day, Mary came to her with an offer that surprised her. "We want you to speak at a local conference. It will be a story about a second chance." At first, Lily didn't know if she could do it. The idea of speaking in front of a large audience scared her. But Mary was persistent. "Lily, your voice is important. People need to hear what real strength of character looks like." The speech was a real challenge for Lily. She was nervous, but when she got up on stage and saw the faces in the audience, she realized this was her moment. "I'm not here to talk about my mistakes," she began. "I'm here to show that even after a fall, you can get up." Her words moved the audience. After her speech, people came up to her, thanked her and told her their stories. For Lily, this was the first confirmation that her story could really inspire. Part 9, a life-changing project. Inspired by the success of her speech, Lily decided to create something bigger. She conceived of a project that would help young people find their way even in the most difficult circumstances. The project was called Second Chance. She approached local businesses, told them about her idea and invited them to cooperate. Many supported her, and within a few months the project was up and running. Second Chance became a place where young people could find not only help but also hope. Here, they attended trainings, participated in support groups, and gained skills that helped them build their future. Lily didn't just manage the project, she was its soul. She met with each new person, listened to their stories and shared her own. She knew that her own experience was the key to understanding those who sought help. Several years had passed since Lily first made the call to the rehabilitation center. Now she stood on the stage of a large conference, where people from all over the world gathered. She was invited as a speaker who proved that even the deepest fall can become the basis for a great rise. "We all have our battles," she began her speech, "but it's not how we fall that matters, it's how we get up. Life always gives a second chance if we are ready to accept it." Her words received a standing ovation. After the speech, people came up to her, shared their stories and thanked her for her inspiration. Lily knew that her journey was not over yet. Her Second Chance project continued to grow, helping hundreds of young people. She was no longer afraid of her past because it had become a source of strength. Lily's story reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there is light to be found. Subscribe to Rise and Inspire for more stories of self-belief, strength and second chances. Share this video with those who need support and remember, everyone deserves a second chance.